Okay, now that you've completed the math, we will move on to English language arts. By the way, if you wanted to jump ahead and do English language arts first and do math later, it does not matter to me the order in which you do your assignments. That is completely up to you. So today's objective, I will be able to connect an author's point of view to the words they use in a text. So first, I wanted to say a thank you to Jeremiah, Gerardo, Yaneli, and I forget who the last one was. Journey. Thank you so much, Journey. You guys contributed some really good guiding questions. Why is there communities? How can we help? Is a city like a community? Can two communities work together or come together? How are different communities different? How are communities alike? How can we help our communities? I like that we have that twice. That's awesome. How can we help other people? How can communities change? And how can you make a community? Ooh, I like that, because how do you make a group or a team or something like that? That takes a lot of organization and understanding what a community is. So I also like your initial ideas, to get a job, connect to each other, to not litter a town is a good way to help a community. I like it. How communities are different is because they have different kinds of people. Absolutely. Communities can change time by time. Yes, over time, a community can definitely change. By knowing all stuff that things help you learn. No, I'm not sure if I understand what exactly this means. And I'm looking for some more initial ideas for some of these questions as well. So if you haven't done the guiding questions or initial ideas, please go ahead and do those. And if you weren't here on Tuesday's slide and you would like to contribute to this, you can go ahead and do that as well. This week, you will be writing an informative essay about the idea of community. One of the most important rules of writing an informative essay is to avoid using first-person pronouns whenever possible. Why do you think it might be important for writers to avoid using pronouns such as I and we when writing an informative essay? Well, we've talked about this a lot, and it's really important because you start implementing your opinion. And this is not an opinion essay. It being informative, you have to be neutral, meaning that you have to give us an overall picture of something instead of inserting your opinion into it. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. So I keep moving myself around. I'm sorry. So since an informative essay focuses on what another text has to say, writers should avoid first-person pronouns that draw attention to themselves, like I, me, my, we, us, our, etc. Another reason writers avoid the first person is that it can make their writing sound more like a casual conversation, and this tone is not appropriate for a serious, academic, informative essay. So this text over here is what we're going to be kind of looking at and seeing what other ways we could work on this to make it better. So, okay. I think that the details Lisa Benjamin includes in her writing help explain why she is so proud of her community. In sentence 1, I noticed that the writer begins the first sentence by saying, I think that. Phrases like this can be distracting because they make it sound as if you are talking more about yourself than the text. Also, when you're writing an informative text, the reader already knows that you're writing about what you think. So this phrase is unnecessary. In this case, I can simply delete the phrase and capitalize the to make it sound more like an informative essay. So I would just cross it out. So that way, the details Lisa Benjamin includes in her writing help explain why she is so proud of her community, which makes sense as well. So the second sentence, She starts by describing a typical day, capturing our interest by allowing us to picture what's going on in the city. In the next sentence, the writer uses pronouns our and us. This would be fine in conversation, but it sounds a bit too casual for an informative essay. In this case, we cannot simply delete us or our because the sentence would no longer make sense. However, we can replace them with the readers and readers, since that is what us and our refer to. So I would cross out the R, cross out the us, put the readers right there, and put readers right there, like that. So this is your assignment to show that you know how to do this, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to say, you're going to read this text, and you're going to use these red circles, and you're going to circle the personal pronouns, okay? Then you're going to write in this box, what words can you replace these with? So, escape. So you just click on the circle, drag it over to, for instance, I see an I. Okay, I gave you one. So you will circle that I, and that will be one of the personal pronouns. Now, what can you put instead? I noticed that one way the text tells its story well is by using a quote from someone in Fargo. Now, how can I change this sentence so that way it doesn't have the word I in it? And then you're going to tell me right here what you will replace it with, okay? All right. Moving on. So, when you read informational text, you often come across unfamiliar words related to the topic. You can sound out words and use different parts and context clues to help you read and understand difficult words. It is important to understand context words in order to grasp the concepts in the informational text. We will focus on using context clues. Words are sometimes defined directly in the text using those signal words. We've talked about signal words such as is or are. Okay. So now that you guys know and do the personal pronouns, now we're moving on to understanding words within a text using context clues and other sources. So you are going to skim back through the text exploring my community and underline or highlight any words that you do not know the meaning of. So for instance, if I'm looking at paragraph 1, that's what a community is like in my community. A community is any place that people call home. Mine is on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. We have beaches and wetland areas. Today is cool for December, 18 degrees Celsius, 65 degrees Fahrenheit. I know, lucky me. The sun is out, so I'm going to take pictures of my city's sights. So these words I just underlined because you guys might not know what they are. If you know what Atlantic is, you don't have to underline it. If you know what a wetland is, you don't have to underline it. But so you need to go through the text and find the words that you don't know. And then when you come here to this chart, you are going to, and I'm going to give you this as an example, Celsius. Okay. So Celsius, here's my context clue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the sentence that Celsius was in. So today is cool for December. (18 degrees Celsius). So my definition, if I'm just to take a guess, because that's my guess. Oh, I'm sorry. This is not my guess. This is the context clue because this is the sentence that it was in. Our definition. Now I can go to Google and look up a definition. Oh, I meant Celsius. And I wanted definition. Celsius, adjective. Of or denoting a scale of temperature on which water freezes at 0 and boils at 100 degrees under standard conditions, or it's a noun. The scale of temperature in which water freezes at 0 degrees and boils at 100 degrees under standard conditions. So it sounds to me that it's like temperature. So I'm going to put that. Temperature. So, revised definition using the references. I did this wrong. No. Okay. I forgot. All right. Sorry, guys. Our definition is our guess. I'm so sorry. That was confusing. Okay. So, our definition is our guess. Okay. So, what can I guess that Celsius is? Today is cool for December, 18 degrees Celsius. I'm not even sure what I would guess. Maybe I would put I don't know. And then now that I've looked up the definition, now my definition is temperature. Okay. So I'm so sorry about that. So remember that this is your guess, and I'm actually going to put this so that way you understand that this is your guess, all right? Not the definition that you're going to look up. Then when you look up the definition, you can't just copy and paste the definition. You have to say it in your own words. What do you understand now about this? Okay. So sorry about that. That was confusing. All right. And so your second assignment for this is you're going to be writing a sentence using one of the words on the chart. So any of the words that you had to look up that you didn't know, you are then going to take that word and write yourself a sentence. Any sentence is fine. So for instance, a sentence that maybe I would use now that I know what Celsius is I wonder what the degrees is in Celsius in Fairfield. Something like that. Okay. So now we're moving on to the part where we're going to be analyzing the author's point of view. So this, we got to kind of think back on comparing points of view. So, and I think I'm going to be running low on time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause right now and I will see you in a moment after you have gotten to work on those assignments. Okay.